So just...
Morning, Chris.
Good morning, Alex.
Morning, Ollie. Now, this morning I thought, with the chairman not being here, he's away sunning himself, we'd talk a bit about behind the scenes, because at the Transport Festival in July, the chairman is running behind the scenes tours.
So I believe. Isn't
Yes.
that exciting?
Yes. So I thought we'd discuss a little bit about the amount of work that does go on behind the scenes, because I think when people turn up, they think we're just playing trains sometimes, and we are, obviously.
We are indeed, Alex, of course, yes. But there's a huge amount of work behind playing trains, isn't there, as you know?
There is.
Well, what time do you get here as a loco driver when you're on duty?
Well, if it's a Christmas service, when they start at 10, you're here at about 6 in the morning.
There we are. So, and that's... yes, that's a good few hours before anybody comes to see you, isn't it?
It is, and likewise, there's small things like this that, as you're doing now, polishing brasswork on a coach just to make them look in good nick, which in the Victorian times everything was always beautifully polished.
Absolutely, it is important that we have these lovely coaches. We've spent a lot of money on getting them just so. We've had support from people to do that, so I think it's only quite right that they are presented as well as they possibly can be when people come out to see us. There we are, nice. Shiny guard only sign at this end of the train.
There we go. And in terms of what goes on in the sheds, that people will be getting a bit of a glimpse at on the behind the scenes tour, when you're out here guarding during the day, obviously that there's teams of people doing other jobs that basically are behind the scenes that we can't run without maintenance.
Absolutely, Alex. We have no end of jobs that are going on. Really, they fall principally into three areas. There's guys who are working on the track and the infrastructure. You know, that might be, as we were the last few weeks, putting some plastic sleepers together, ready for the next relaying once we reach the winter season and the trains stop running. We've always got maintenance going on with the locomotives in the loco shed, or over the pit in the carriage shed, and indeed the coaching stock needs maintenance. That will be stripped once a year and checked out. Tim and the guys will be looking after that.
And there's not really spare parts, sorry to interrupt you, there's not really spare parts available for any of this stuff now. You can't really pick, in terms of like our vintage Victorian coaches, there aren't spare parts that you can just order online.
There are not. I was working during the week actually on some parts for the four-wheel coaches. James Quirk managed in his lunchtime to get some brass hoops rolled for us. They will form the ends of the last of the replacement hoops on the four-wheel coaches, and then they needed drilling out very carefully because you're trying to drill into something at an angle and then tapping out. So just producing 3 of those was probably 2 or 3 mornings' work.
So if people want to come and check these out, of course, I'll say now that you can book your behind-the-scenes tours online at our website. Please go and check all that out. But of course, it's not the only behind-the-scenes stuff, because as well as all the admin and everything else and that goes on, there is the cafe. We are going to go and talk to Rosemary very shortly. We should never underestimate the amount of work that goes on what is our major fundraiser at the other end.
There is a huge amount of work goes on at the cafe, both supplying it and the home baked produce that is on display there. The scones are often in the oven at about 6 o'clock on a Sunday morning, so that's another early start for somebody. And really, you know, on a glorious day like this, why would you not want to come and ride on the railway and have a run out to Sealand Rocks and enjoy homemade cake and tea or coffee or ice cream at the other end of the line with some fantastic views at the same time.
And of course, in the winter, if you're volunteering, we might even get flapjack, which normally has apparently your fingerprints on it, as it were.
It does, Alex. I have now been trained and passed out in the art of producing cold flapjack. Jonathan assures me that eventually we'll have a steam press that we can use to ensure appropriate formation of this. But in the meantime, it's an old chopping board and a bit of a thump, and there you go.
Speaking of Jonathan, we haven't seen him yet, have we?
It's been very quiet, hasn't it? Yes. Maybe he's at home polishing something there. Who knows?
So, on board with Tim, going to the event. Morning, Tim.
Morning.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Now, where are you going today with the BEV?
Well, we're going to go and put the BEV up at Sealand Rocks, but myself and Matt are actually going to be working up at the Headland Loop.
Excellent. Now, in terms of working up the Headland Loop during a running day, what actual work are you doing up there? Because there's not much up the Headland Loop.
There's not a lot up there other than a nice pile of scrap metal. Obviously, as you can imagine, at a railway, you know, we have lots of bits of old track and other metal work, which we will be chopping up today. send it off to the scrap man, and hopefully generate some funds for the railway.
Excellent. So it's a double whammy, really. We get rid of scrap, we have it recycled, which is of course good for the environment,
Absolutely.
and we get a bit of money towards fundraising as well.
Yeah, and every little bit of money helps the railway continue on into the future.
Excellent. It pays for your astronomically high wages.
Yes. Yes, zero. Yes, it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Very well paid job. This very well paid.
Very well paid. Well, have a good day, and hopefully it won't be too hot for you out there.
Yeah, I'm keeping my fingers crossed.
More behind the scenes stuff, but not necessarily to do with engineering. Good morning, Rosemary.
Good morning, Alex.
This is the part of it's the quiet part of the day at the tea rooms that people don't see.
I love it here when it's like this. Particularly if I get a few moments to sit outside with a cup of coffee, but I don't think I'll do that today.
Well, for people who watched a few weeks ago, of course, that it was exciting for you. You got a new flag.
I know, and we had a special ceremony to put it up, and I'm like, that's not going to go in there, is it?
No.
Never mind. Never mind. We'll put them on something else.
Obviously, it's a busy day because there's a fully booked steam tea today. But generally, this is the end of the railway that maybe people don't realise sometimes is a massive fundraiser for the railway.
Well, yes, absolutely, yes, because I mean, it's a lot of the cake is homemade, and so we have a good margin on that that makes a brilliant contribution to the railway, and everybody's always very enthusiastic when they come down here. We invariably have stunning views, even on a day when we've got a bit of Manannan's cloak. In fact, there's somebody outside enjoying it now. I shall go and accost them to buy a cup of tea soon.
Excellent, I think that's a wonderful idea. If you'd like any helpers up here, of course, because it is also known as not only a place with good views, but good gossip, so you can sit and chat as well.
Absolutely, yeah. We invariably get a bit of time to sit outside and have a bit of a chinwag. And yes, I would very much welcome more volunteers. So if anybody can spare a few hours on a Sunday, particularly, we do 2 shifts, morning and afternoon. You only have to come for a few hours. That'd be glorious. I'd love it.
Especially if they're good at whipping cream.
Absolutely, yes. So go with our scones.